City of Windhoek secures 155 million Namibian dollar loan for new power substation to avoid load shedding.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening. Welcome to News on One. In the headlines, Gengok calls on cabinet ministers to deliver this year. Recruitment process for teaching positions exhausting, complains Tukna. Mother seeks school for daughter with hydrocephalus. Nito Mata calls for collaboration amongst agri-stakeholders. And Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. First up, President Hage Geingob told parliamentarians that they are tasked to fight poverty, unemployment and promote economic emancipation. The president, who was speaking during the official opening of cabinet at State House today, said this year's priority should be on competitiveness within governance and macroeconomics.
We cannot operate in silos, especially during a time when we are all required to achieve important goals. We have limited resources. As representatives of the sovereigns of the Republic of Namibia, we should never forget that we are keepers of public trust. We have been placed here to serve the interests of the people, and therefore we must ensure that meeting the needs of the people should be our first priority, if not the only priority. Being a member of the cabinet should never be about advancing personal interests or those of family, friends, or associates. It is not about advancing your own personal agenda. And therefore, as I have stated before, if you disagree with a collective decision taken and agreed upon by cabinet, you are free to resign as per cabinet handbook.
Geingob commended ministers who have been responding to questions from the public and equally informing the masses of the programs carried out by respective ministries. The president further called on cabinet ministers to ensure that they implement Vision 2030 and the Harambee Prosperity Plan projects under their respective portfolios.
Yes, some people are saying when ministers are asked to comment, they don't. When they are asked to appear on NBC, Talk of a Nation, they don't want to appear there. If that is true, then I cannot blame the people for having their narratives. Ministers only go when they are successful. Then they want to have a TV there. They don't say the government, they say my ministry. My ministry has done this, my ministry has done this. When there is a problem, government, we in government are trying. Yes. When is a success? My ministry is doing this, we have done this. Some programs even for ministry, not the government, to showcase their ministries. Moment something happens from the president, we are in trouble.
The head of state, who dubbed 2023 as the year of revival, called for collective responsibility in advancing the country's developmental agenda.
Swipe on it and win! Come bank with us and stand a chance to win the grand prize of an eco-friendly hybrid vehicle or one of 40 fuel vouchers worth $40,000 Namibian.
Full tank, possibly.
To enter, simply make any purchase using your Bank Vintage Visa debit or credit card between the 1st of October 2022 and the 31st of March 2023. With your Bank Vintage Visa card in hand, let's journey together with every swipe. Visit bankvintage.com.na for more information. Protect yourself against fraud and never share your PIN. T's and C's apply. Bank Vintage, a member of Capricorn Group.
A 30-year-old unemployed teacher from a Kuku village near Oshakati who attended over 20 job interviews last year shared her ordeal of failing to land a job. The teacher, who requested anonymity, indicated that she had already gone to 8 interviews this year and is still waiting for feedback. The young woman, who described the job hunt as bad, indicated that not all candidates make it to the interview because they lack funds to travel long distances.
News on One interviewed the unemployed education graduate who have been finding it difficult to secure employment, but yet spends money on traveling to attend job interviews.
You know, the situation is not good. Not everyone can afford to travel to interviews, and sometimes you get invited like over 100, sometimes you are over 600 to one teaching post. Some people don't even have parents, some can't really afford, so they end up being at their houses without going to the interviews. This time of the year, the beginning of the year, like last week I got invited to 2 interviews, and this week also. Like most of the times you get invited to 2 or more 3 interviews a week. Since I'm an entrepreneur, I get my funds through selling at home. I do small businesses, so yeah, that's how I fund my interviews, transport.
The teacher's comments comes after the Trade Union Congress of Namibia's Secretary General Mahongora Kavihuha shared with News on One that the current recruitment process of teachers is draining the new graduates as they are required to travel long distances while they lack finance. Thus, Kavihuha called on relevant education stakeholders to come up with solutions for unemployed teachers.
Currently, what is happening, how the interviews are conducted, and how interviews are draining these graduates. A person have to travel per week 4 times. Or Congo, tomorrow you are in Kongola, the next day you must be in Utapi, and this person is unemployed. So what I am foreseeing is that can we not derive a specific mechanism on how to conduct these interviews? Whether they can be done through a process where a final years can be screened. All of us, when we start teaching, we never went through the interviews. We never went through interviews. We were appointed. So I'm sure that there should be a specific mechanism that stakeholders can agree upon, so we can get rid of these interviews, or we streamline them in a manner that will be not draining the resources of the graduates. and wasting time. Some of them, people are already appointed, but we still have to go through that process just to satisfy no one knows.
A 28-year-old resident from Komasdal in Windhoek, Lucia Shinyama, who makes ends meet by baking cakes at home, hopes her 5-year-old disabled daughter gets enrolled in school. The daughter, who cannot see or walk, was born with a condition called hydrocephalus.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Chinyama described her 5-year-old daughter, Ukutura Chinyama, as an intelligent girl. The mother has been searching for a suitable school for little Ukutura, but it has not been an easy task. Ukutura, who suffer from hydrocephalus, also known as water on the brain, underwent an operation soon after birth, and a shunt to drain water was inserted into her head. Shinyama shared challenges she encounters raising her daughter. The single mother of 3, who was employed as a baker at a local bakery, stated that she had to resign from her job to look after her daughter.
Ukutura is totally blind and then she can't work. Since I'm an unemployed mother, single mother of 3 kids, for her it's really a struggle. I can't be moving up and down since she can't walk. She can't see. And all this it's really giving me a big problem. I can't leave her with anyone because she doesn't really catch up with anyone who she doesn't know. There's certain food that she needs to eat. If there is really someone who can help us get a school for her, that's really my first option. I really need a school for her. Anyone who still knows of a disabled kids school that is suitable for her, you can just maybe contact us.
When asked about the father's support, Chinyama responded that he offers very little assistance for their daughter.
I wouldn't really say he doesn't really support the child, but out of 100, I'll maybe give him a 20% or a 30%. Because for this child, we really need to be like parents that need to be there for their daughter. This child really needs help. She really needs help. There are times like this, sometimes there's no food at home. I would maybe call him and he would maybe wait for next week and so on. For me as a mother, I wouldn't wait for next week, so I have to make ways.
News on One reached out to Happy Van Wyk, who runs the side-by-side early intervention center in Korea Hub that caters for children with disabilities and special needs. Van Wyk invited Chinyama and little Ukutura for an interview. Van Wyk said after the interview, the child can be placed under one of the programs depending on her needs.
Swipe on it and win! Come bank with us and stand a chance to win the grand prize of an eco-friendly hybrid vehicle or one of 40 fuel vouchers worth $40,000 Namibian.
Full tank, asseblief.
To enter, simply make any purchase using your Bank Vintage Visa debit or credit card between the 1st of October 2022 and the 31st of March 2023. With your Bank Vintage Visa card in hand, let's journey together with every swipe. Visit bankvintage.com.na for more information. Protect yourself against fraud and never share your PIN. T's and C's apply. Bank Vintage, a member of Capricorn Group.
The Executive Director in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Ndiakupi Nitwamata, has called on stakeholders who are part of the agriculture sector to establish a coordination structure that will enable them to work together. Nitwamata said the structure should be set up within the next 3 months. She made this call at the closing ceremony of the Intersectoral Coordination and Technical Exchange Workshop on Food Security and Agronomic Support Initiatives in Windhoek last week.
Nitwamata stated that a full report is expected from stakeholders by next week Friday, which should include intersectoral coordination strategies, establishment of thematic working groups, and the facilitation of a dialogue between crop farmers and retailers, among other requirements. The stakeholders represented at the workshop included the German Development Corporation, Namibia Agronomic Board, World Food Programme, Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, Agribank, the Ministry of Health and Social Services, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform.
The ministry will come up with the term of reference of each working group, and of course the secretariat, of course supported by Ben and the team. We are expecting you to start working to come up with those by 3rd March 2023. Then we facilitate a dialogue between the producers and retailers. This is what you have said. I just don't want it to end in the shelves, gathering dust. By 3rd March 2023, you should have already facilitated that, having the date on when it's going to take place. Namibia Agronomic Board, you are the leading in this matter.
Ngituamata stated that the Namibia Agronomic Board, together with the GIZ, will be responsible for overseeing the facilitation of the workshop report and that implementation should take off next month.
I would like, therefore, to emphasize that the importance of coordination within agronomic and horticulture subsector as demonstrated by this workshop is very crucial. We were talking about coordination. Things are there, and everyone, NAB have their strategic plan, WFP have their everyone have their strategic plan, and they are implementing them in that silos. This workshop was really to bring home all these activities to be implemented, coordinated from one house, and we check who is doing what so that we avoid duplication. And with duplication comes a lot of waste of funds.
Ngituamata said that a monitoring and evaluation system will also be put together by the GIZ, which will ensure the implementation of the goals discussed at the workshop and that all stakeholders are held accountable for the progress of the agriculture sector moving forward.
Welcome to Business on One. For nearly 3 decades, a 43-year-old Petrus Lilongeni has been residing in a shack in Greenville Matongo informal settlement with his family. This week, Lilongeni's life changed when he moved into a decent home built through a partnership between the Urban and Rural Ministry, Khomas Regional Council, NHE and the City of Windhoek. A total of 60 houses were handed over under the informal settlement upgrading pilot project this week.
Petrus Lilongeni moved to Greenville Matongo in the Samora Machel constituency in 1994. After signing up for the program last year, Lilongeni witnessed a 2-bedroom house erected on his erven. News on One caught up with a self-employed carpenter at the handover occasion, where he expressed gratitude for the decent and affordable home.
I am very happy to receive my house today. Just say thank you for the minister, mayor, and the city of Windhoek and energy. 2021, I'm applying this house, and they call me to go to energy on 2022 to go sign my papers, and they come to build my house.
In addition, the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Erastus Uthoni, stated that the 60 houses handed over are just an addition of 570 houses that are already completed in the various informal settlements around the city. Uthoni also described the project by various stakeholders as a success and making a difference in the lives of informal settlement residents.
These are the people who do not have subsidies from government. These are the people who are selling their products in the street. Then we are saying now, I think this project has now to focus on this people, because when there is a developer to build houses, people with subsidies, they run to their ministries or to their employers, and then they are given subsidy, then they can easily get a house. But these people, they are there. Then we said, no, let's also look at our low-income group of the society, so that they can enter in agreement with us. It's a ministry, NHE, and the City of Windhoek, of course, Regional Council. That we can provide them, affordable housing. And these are the affordable ones. Really, this is affordable. So that is basically the target of this program. Yes, as we are saying, it's a pilot project, only that the resources are not sufficient enough. We wanted at least to start moving to some other local authorities, but it's going a little bit slow. And looking at Windhoek as it is, the informal settlement compared to other local authorities, this one is so big. So now we are trying to see how we can also strategize, because again, the same people that we are trying to deal with or to help, these are the same people also facing a serious challenge in terms of sanitation. So our program is now going to go parallel, but maybe the efforts are now going to put it more now, this time around, on sanitation. Because it's not good that a person put up a house and there's no sanitation. So this is what we are trying to look at, to help our low-income group of the society, also to benefit like any citizen.
Uthoni urged the beneficiaries to take good care of their houses.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on business news.
The newly elected Windhoek Mayor Joseph Wapingene has expressed confidence in fellow council members to solve disunity within the municipal council. As a result of this division, council members have failed to assemble to elect 2 members of the management committee. Jonathan commended the city council for the good job, but urged them to resolve the disunity. Christopher described the situation as a circus. Hautele wants the minister to dissolve the council if they are not interested in serving the people who voted for them. And that's it from Comments Corner. Please continue engaging with us on our stories for broadcast on News on One.
Coming soon, only on One Africa, a remarkable journey into nature. Namibia is one of the least densely populated countries on this planet. The country's wildlife and environment enjoy constitutional protection, and unique fauna and flora inhabit this ancient arid country. The Conservation Film Foundation proudly presents Wild Namibia, a local TV series that focuses on conservationists in action. Filmed during the 2020 pandemic, this series documents the work of people who ensure Namibia's wild places continue to be conserved. Watch this action-packed exploration into environments few have seen before, exclusively on One Africa, on DSTV 284, DSTV Now, and GoTV 90.
And on the sports front, Namibian athletes in different sports codes continue to excel locally and internationally despite the difficult period brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. This was said by the Secretary General of the Namibian National Olympics Committee, Johan Smit, as the athletes prepare to compete at the 2024 Olympics Games in Paris, France. Smit says that they will only choose the best to represent the land of the brave.
I must say, that Namibia has, over the past, after COVID, our young athletes just exceeded in wherever they participated. I don't need to say anything about Christine Mboma and Beatrice Masalingi. And I can tell you, that there are new ones on the horizon as well, coming up in athletics. In cycling, we have two very young boys who are currently ranked #1 and #3 in the world for mountain bike juniors. And then, of course, Alex Miller, he's absolutely on top of his game in mountain bike. We have wrestling, Romeo Goliath looking very good this time. Quinn ready for archery, looking great, swimmers, Alexander Skinner, Ronan Vantana, currently both training outside the country. So, and I'm talking about young athletes. They know what they want. They absolutely work towards achieving their goals and their dreams. And they're also working very hard to fly the Namibian flag, in these big events such as the Olympic Games. So we are very hopeful, we are very positive. From the Olympic side, we will try our level best to make sure that we assist the athletes, to have the opportunity to go to these qualification events. So we have high hopes for good qualifications for the Olympic Games next year. I also need to add that you can always go for wild cards, in these games. But in Namibia, we have a policy that we do not take wild cards. Athletes need to work hard to qualify in order to go and compete against the best in the world.
Up next is the weather forecast. And that brings us to the end of tonight's edition of News on One. From us, it's good night.